Hey friend, Brendan here. This is the first video game console that I've had in probably a decade, like a new one. I haven't had a PlayStation since the first one when I bought a mod chip and tried to solder it and then screwed it up and then I gave up on video games. That tells you a lot about who I am. Let's check it out. This is a huge box, by the way. You could fit probably good 4 cats inside of it. Also, got this right here, Miles Morales. The Ultimate Launch Edition. Well, it has a remastered version of Spider-Man, so we'll check that out. Jeez. Big. Gotta get the thumbnail on here. This box is still in the way. It's so big. Okay. It's so big. Okay, apparently there's 825 gigabytes in here. That's neat. I know that there's going to be an expansion slot thing that works in the future, so hopefully that works soon. Well, it says it supports 8K. I don't have an 8K TV. It does have 4K 120 hertz. That's nice, and HDR. But the thing that I'm most excited about is the haptics on the controller. I hear that is really nice, and one of the things that I tend to think about with things like phones and even video game systems is the holistic experience. Wow, this thing is so big that it's just like my head, just floating over it. I'm thinking, I'm back. There you go. I'm running out of room for all these boxes. We have this right here. How does it come out? That was unexpected. There's this box right here. Oh, here's the controller. We'll have to check that out in a little bit. Power plug, HDMI to HDMI. And then this looks to be the stand for it. You can put it on its side or upright. That's nice. And then a USB-C to USB-A cable. I imagine that's to charge the controller maybe. Dude, this thing's huge. I don't... This thing's massive! Maybe a video game cartridge to scale. It's huge. It's as big as my torso, man. This is gonna take up the whole entire entertainment system. Oh, and there's some cool stuff here. If you look really close, you can see some texture. This one is the version that has a Blu-ray player on the inside, because I like having physical copies. That means I can lend the game out to others and I can resell it if I want to. Looks like there's a power button and an eject button. You have a USB-C port right there and then a USB-A port and then tons of ventilation there. This thing's heavy. You have an HDMI out, Ethernet in, and then 2 USB-A ports. So how does this fit on this little stand here? There's a screw at the bottom of the base, so it's sideways like that, and then if you rotate it, you see this pops down. And then now it fits in at the back right there, and then you just screw it in. So this screw right there. Oh, I love this. This is a good idea. Okay, so there's this little washer right here, and then you can store it right in here so you don't lose it. I'm glad they thought of that because otherwise I would have lost it. Perhaps a little over-engineered, but I can appreciate it. That's really interesting. You know, if you have to have a special stand just to stand it up, maybe it's a little too artsy-fartsy of a design. I don't know, just thought. So you just rotate it 45 degrees and then it'll lay flat. I imagine most people, if they have the headroom, they'll probably stand it upright because this takes up a ton of room when you lay it down like this. And I don't know how many people have entertainment systems that can just take up all this room. So this would be like the next generation of consoles with games. They're next generation. Unfortunately, you can't play Animal Crossing on it, so sorry to my roommate.
Oh, man.
But I have been playing Splatoon 2 quite a bit on the Nintendo Switch. But I've been playing that quite a bit on Twitch, so you should follow me. There's a link in the description. Now for the controller. Oh my gosh, there's literally like crap everywhere. Okay, so the controller has this neat texture on it that is smooth on the front, but along the back, it's that same kind of texture that you'll see on the inside of the little fins here, and then it blends into the smooth kind of texture as well. It's really interesting, but it makes it a little bit grippier. I would almost say that I would want that grippiness on the front too. There's a big old touch surface there. You have your USB-C, the way the Nintendo Switch has it, where you have your D-pad down here and then your little joystick up here. This is kind of what PlayStation controllers are like. So you might be wondering, why a PlayStation 5 over an Xbox? So the first thing is there are some exclusive games that I really want to check out for this console. one of which is God of War. I've heard a lot of really good things about it, so I got the PlayStation Plus subscription, so I'm gonna go back and play that, and then when it comes out next year, I wanna play that as well. There are just more exclusive games that are available on the PlayStation that aren't really there as much on Xbox, and the biggest thing about the Xbox is even though it has incredible specs and everything, I can just get a controller and play it on a PC. So you have xCloud and things like that, so I don't actually have to buy the whole entire system. I can just buy a controller and pay for a subscription. So that kind of makes more sense there in terms of flexibility and using what I already have instead of buying another system and box to put on my desk or entertainment system. So with PlayStation 5, I'm kind of limited to just getting the system itself. Also, like I mentioned, I care about the holistic experience of things. So haptics that are really specific to different textures and experiences in the game, and you have those triggers that are resistive based upon what's going on in the game. That's huge. It's like when I have a smartphone or things like that, like an iPhone, the haptics on this are really, really good. So even though this is an iPhone SE 2020, for example, because the haptics are so good, it feels really premium. That kind of really feels into your experience or what it seems like when you're actually playing the game. So as some of you have watched this channel have heard me say, specs alone don't make the phone. And I would say that's probably the same case with consoles. While the Xbox probably has better specs, it's about the whole experience for me. So if the controller adds those haptics and all those neat little additions to give you a really immersive experience while playing the game, that's going to stand out more to me than just pure raw specs. Let's try plugging it in and see what it's like. Let's turn it on. Ooh, it's a nice little blue glow there. Not quite the RGBs, it's just the Bs.
Branchez votre manette sur la console à l'aide d'un câble USB, puis appuyez sur la touche PS.
Oh! We were being cultured. So it's asking me to put in the disc so I can install it while we're finishing setup. I have the Miles Morales. Morales sounds like molasses. This is actually my first Blu-ray player ever. This is how far behind I am. Haven't had a modern day video game system in a decade because I broke my first PlayStation with a mod chip, and then I haven't had a Blu-ray player, so we're fixing that. I don't know which way's up. Let's hope for the best. Hopefully it's not like those Xboxes that are having all the drive issues. I think we're good. So right now I am using this little external monitor from Asus that it just kind of has a touch panel and a battery built into it. It's what I use because I usually play over on my desk and I need something that's small that I can collapse because I don't have a dedicated monitor. Of course, there are links for that in the description along with the PS5. There's already dust all over this thing. That's the one thing I would say I wish was different, is that this little black surface, if it was a matte texture, that would have been nice. Even if it was just like the outside of this. It doesn't even have to be textured like the inside of this, but just the inside would be nice, because this is gonna look messy and dirty all the time, and that's gonna really bother me. I know like in renders and stuff, it looks really premium, but in real life, it ends up looking cheap. Now there is a version of the PlayStation 5 that you can purchase that is going to be $100 cheaper without the disc drive. Like I mentioned, the reason why I get the disc drive is because I like having physical copies of games so I can sell it or let other people borrow it. If you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit cheap. There's not like some intense air pushing or anything in here, so you can't vape into it like everyone's doing with their Xboxes. So it does seem like the loudest part of the system is the disc drive. I have a little decibel reader, and let's find out how loud it is. So from the front end where you put in the disc, it might get to about 60 decibels, which actually isn't that loud. I imagine once you take it out, it's gonna be way quieter. So the one game everyone's been saying that you should try out in order to experience all the haptics on the new PS5 controller is Astro's Playroom. So let's try it out. Oh my gosh, the haptics already. Oh. Holy cow. That's like intense haptics. Like I can feel things moving across the screen because it moves between the left and right side. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Oh yeah, you can hear you can feel the resistance. I'm pressing into it, but there's like a give to it. I don't know if you can hear the vibration, but so not only to hear it, but you feel it. That's wild. Oh my goodness. Even the little steps, I can feel his little pitter-patters of his feet. This is nuts. That is insane. So this is probably the best controller I've ever used in my life. Just because of the way it feels with the haptics. Yeah, this game is purely fun just because of how it feels. That's wild. So one thing to really think about with the haptics and everything on the controller, especially the triggers, is whether or not developers will actually develop for it. It's going to be a lot of work to do that, and so far we only have it on first-party games. Whether or not we have it on third-party games is to be seen. It'd be a real shame if they didn't take advantage of it, because this is really awesome. So now that we've tried Astro's Playground, let's try out Miles Morales. So there are two graphics modes on here. I have 30 frames per second, which give you the highest quality of graphics with ray tracing and additional VFX, and then you have 60 frames per second without some of the additional things like ray tracing, enhanced lighting, and additional VFX. Oh, this is nuts. Oh my gosh. Oh. All right, so I'm gonna save it. We're gonna resume it on Twitch. So once again, go follow me on twitch.tv/thististechday where we'll go through this and you can ask me anything about the PS5 or the game, and we'll have a lot of fun. So that's the unboxing and first impressions of the PlayStation 5. There's more to come for sure, a full review after I have a little bit more time with it. I wanna make sure that you're subscribed and that you have the bell icon hit so you can be notified when I post that video. And of course, there are links down for everything down below in the description. So thanks so much for watching This Is Tech Today, where we talk about the intersection of technology in our everyday lives, in business, and in all things creative. Until next time.